You know those stories of someone who sits in a desk job all day and they hate it and they're burnt out and they're depressed and all these things, and then something changes where they just decide, I'm sick of it, and then they start to change their life completely. They went and did this, they went and did that. Things they would have never done in the past, suddenly they're doing, and their world is starting to change. They're creating opportunities, they're creating shifts and rifts, visible, tangible change in their world. It's because they became someone else. They got to a point where there was a shift. There's a change, there's a transition, an evolution into a newer version of yourself. I want people to connect to natural laws, reframe their idea of how these laws govern their lives, how they're meant to interact with these laws. Because once you see them for what they are, and you recognize that nothing is really for you or against you, you can take your power in maneuvering through these things when you see them with a clear mind. Life becomes much easier to navigate through. Why not you? Why not you? Who are you not to be? It is a disservice to the world. It is a disservice to the God that made you to not work to open up your full potential, to work to not fully crack open and actualize all the things that you're really capable of. It's energy wasted, but it is a requirement of this place. It is a instruction. It is an assignment to go deep and dive deep into you. And it's interesting because I feel like people get so discouraged on the journey because they don't recognize what the nature of the journey is supposed to be. There's supposed to be peaks and valleys. There's supposed to be hard times. There's supposed to be confusing times. There's supposed to be, in some ways, feelings of anxiety, feelings of doubt, feelings of not being sure. And I feel like if we reframed our minds to see that all of these things are a part of it, if we could go into life and go into the world with this idea that, okay, I'm about to do life now, it's gonna have some sucky moments. It's also gonna have some beautiful, breathtaking moments if I allow myself to be connected to it in that way and to perceive those things and to acknowledge them when they come. But on the negative sides of things, I wish we could maybe easier accept that it belongs here. And I wish we would kind of look at the duality of life in that way. And the fact that when we come here, it's never been, it's going to be all shits and giggles. It's going to be all sunshine and roses and daisies. It's going to be great, and you're going to have kids, and they're going to grow up, and you're going to look at this, and you're going to fall in love, and you're going to this. And I just feel like we grow up with this kind of fragmented, single view of the world. Like I feel like we kind of omit this other side that is as much a part of the process, as much, like it belongs there as much as the good stuff belongs there, is what I'm saying. And I feel like if we accepted these two experiences in conjunction with one another are what's going to mold me. I am meant to be tested and tried and pulled and prodded and rewarded and punished in this cycle until I continue to learn, get my bearings, until I master myself, until I learn how to connect and form relationships with my environment that's healthy, that has boundaries, until I can learn to listen to myself and listen to my intuition, learn to maneuver and get out of situations that I shouldn't be in. It's like your external world, your external reality literally evolves with you. It changes with how you change yourself. So the game of life is simply meeting everything where it is, meeting the environment where it is, and deciding who you are going to be in relationship with all these things. Who are you going to be with all of the negative people in your life? Who are you in those relationships? How do you show up and maneuver these relationships? How do you manipulate your environment to change things about your environment? What do you do? How do you show up? Who are you? And as you grow, as you learn, as you recognize, I'm not doing this anymore, or when you leave that relationship, it's because you're a different person than you were at the start of that relationship. And then you bring in a new relationship that's more aligned with who you are then. All I'm trying to get across in this ramble is that change is essential. Change is what we should all be striving for. We should be striving for constant change and evolution in the positive direction. Good and bad, positive and negative, which are really just neutral. It's all about how we perceive them. Positive and negative, things that bring us pleasure and joy, and things that bring us pain and discomfort. Those two things are here. That is the setting of the game. Those two things are a part of the game. If your life is a video game and it's story mode, and the goal is to get you on the other side of it as an evolved human being who has mastered the self as a human being and are ready to go on to the next phase, as part of that game, there's positive and there's negative. And these two things are here to contrast against each other, to give you context, and you are meant to navigate between these things. You are meant to respond and understand from these things and move accordingly. And your only goal is to see things more objective. See these things happening in life, not as all these things happening to you, but to see them as part of your game. See them as part of your story mode, as part of your narrative, your arc. And if people would embody that they are all their own story, everyone has their own plot, and everyone has their own goal at the end of it. The goal is not success. The goal is not a particular job or amount of money. It's only internal. It is only internal. I want people to stop, pause, wherever they are, and look at their circumstance. Think about what's happening with their kids. Think about what's happening with their marriage, what's happening with their family or their parents or their siblings. Think about what's happening at work, in their social economy. Think about what's happening around you. Think about what's happening with your health. Think about what's happening with your finances. Think about what's happening with your dog. Think about all these things. Think about what you appreciate. Think about all the things you've gotten in the past year, the past 5 years, the things you feel like you have a positive trajectory toward. Think about all these things and then drop all the emotion affiliated with it. Drop all of the emotion affiliated with all of these happenings in your life and see them for what they are. Pause. If you see your life in color, just desaturate it and see it in black and white. My artist brain is talking right now. But for me, if I want to see something without all the distraction of color and I need to just see the values or, how light or dark a certain color is, I will take a picture of something of different colors and then I would desaturate it so that it's black and white so I can just focus on the values. That's what I feel like we need to do with our life. Look at everything that's happening, pause, extract all the emotion and look at it for what it is and think, what could be taught to me through this relationship? What maybe am I meant to learn through this? What am I meant to learn through that? And if you saw everything that way, and you didn't just see it from this place of just trying to survive and have pleasure and avoid punishment, avoid suffering. Instead, you're just trying to learn from everything objectively and really, genuinely trying to just learn from everything that's there. We would start moving through these relationships and navigating accordingly. We would move through them, the hard things, we lean into them and execute and go through them in the best way we know how, knowing that it's for our best good. I'll leave this rant at that, but I'm literally in a hotel right now on a work trip, but I just felt that I needed to get this off my chest and I just needed to put it out there that there are other approaches to life. And it all comes down to the approach, the frameworks you have. So just keep this framework in your pocket and maybe one day it'll have some value.